Is this thing on? Hello? Can you hear me? Nostalgia is both a remedy for the heavy emotions that ail us and a crutch to protect us. It's a safety net that robs us of the new and makes us bitter to change. There is a certain comfort in re-experiencing something that you know you love. Maybe it's a childhood favorite book with earmarked pages and a weathered spine. Maybe it's an old movie, watching Mufasa claw at the air on his way down from a cliff's edge, seeing Mulan before going to battle, or singing along to Frozen. I'm not doing it, man. I don't care how bad you want to see it. I'm not doing it. I swear to God. Hey! This same nostalgia, it applies to gaming. An experience or a honed skill that you remember despite years between playthroughs. For me, it's beating Ornstein and Schmo for the first time. Days of white-knuckled, stress-induced, sweaty palm gaming, all released in one immaculate pop-off. You know that felt good.
Yo, shut the fuck up.
These nostalgic moments remind us of times when we weren't as lonely, worried about money, what's for dinner, and why when you message Tony about hanging out on Thursday, he still hasn't replied despite it being 2 days, and you know he saw it because those 3 dots popped up immediately afterwards.
Is he talking shit behind your back? This is Tony hates you, isn't it? Isn't it? This Tony hates you.
Oh. He just started replying and forgot. We're still good for Thursday. Despite nostalgia's reputation for blinding us to the quality of the things that we love, it's easy to fall back on. We've all wanted to recreate a moment of wonder or awe. The thing is, that sense of accomplishment, it doesn't hit like a truck now that you've already done it. Ornstein and Schmo isn't the same when you already know the pace that Schmo swings his hammer and Ornstein stabs with his spear. Those characters that you love so much don't surprise you with their depth anymore. You already know that Garrus struggles with his morality. You already know that Marston struggles with his past. I don't want to say that there's nothing to be gained from re-experiencing a piece of cherished media. You see things from a different perspective. Notice little details and points of conversations that mean more to you now that you know the story. You learn to admire the skills of the authors, artists, designers, and everyone in between. Often, nostalgia isn't simply replaying the same games and watching the same movies. It's trying to find more things that scratch that same itch. Same gameplay style, same art, same genre. It's putting over 3,000 hours into Destiny 2 because you want to recreate that experience of finishing a raid for the first time. And instead just sitting in orbit for an hour wondering why you even launched the game. And companies are more than happy to enable our digital hoarding. And they would gladly serve you non-stop slop if they knew that it would make more money than a good game. Come on, man, you sure you don't want a third copy of Skyrim? This is the version you can play on your smart TV. It's on sale, it's only $30. All right. You don't want Skyrim, I get it. We got Resident Evil remakes. Digital storefronts like Steam and the Epic Store operate on algorithms. Similarly to your YouTube homepage, they offer up suggestions based on your previously shown interests because you're more likely to buy them. Now, this seems obvious, but bear with me. What this means is that storefronts operate off of 2 types of pitches. The first of which is trending and viral games. Think yearly releases of Call of Duty, think Battle Pass updates for Fortnite and Marvel Rivals, or trending games like Schedule 1 and Expedition 33 that have been doing well on social media and Twitch, so they're expected to sell well on the platform. The second type of pitch is games that are tailor-picked for your tastes. You play a lot of roguelikes. Here's a couple cool roguelikes that have come out recently. We play a lot of survival games. Well, do you want to play a survival game on your own? No? How about with a couple friends you know? Not that one either? You want RPG elements? Is that what you want? No? You want to play online? You want to get your head cracked open by a naked man with a rock shouting slurs? I warned you. I guess there is a third type of pitch, though. No, man, don't press that button. I'm telling you, you will never unsee some of those What did I tell you? Huh? What did I say? Now, this is clearly a smart way to do business. Looking at Steam's chokehold on the digital gaming market alone should tell you this. But recommending people games based on what you already know that they like makes them more likely to buy it. Big surprise. The thing is, there's a secondary consequence to this. Refining the games that people see into mostly what's already within their comfort zone makes it increasingly likely that they will never leave it. It's what gives us the Battle Royale only guys, or the extraction shooter only guys, or the all I ever do is play modded Skyrim people. Obviously, not everyone is the same. And I know there are people out there who actively look for and try new and innovative games on the regular basis. But as we grow older, it becomes increasingly difficult to persuade ourselves to try new things. That, combined with the store structure and the sheer quantity of games within every genre, only cements that fact.
What?
After a little bit of research, I found a few studies that all generally supported this claim. However, there was one in particular that I found interesting. This study by Jaren Technology. In this study, they surveyed older and younger participants' experiences with new games. What they found is that there was no significant difference between appreciation of a new game between either age group. The number one most important feature between both age groups was the ability to get a high score. That's right, if Gerald doesn't have a numerical value representing just how much he crushed you at Subway Surfers, then he doesn't even want to bother with the game. This research, though, it inadvertently answered a question that had been nagging at me. Is it that as we grow older, we simply appreciate new games less? Or is it that we have difficulty choosing to play them? Tailored choices make it easier for people to fall into a specific genre of gaming, spending most of their time playing one type of game, despite data showing that they are just as likely to enjoy a new game as someone younger. Maybe Gerald can pick up Fortnite and wreck his grandkids in that too. Storefronts and ease of staying within a genre aren't the only factors that contribute to this, though. And I think another part of this modern lack of experimentation is the industry's obsession with the forever game. I loved Destiny for a long time, and I still love the time that I spent with it. But in recent years, I've begun to resent it for the sheer amount of time that it expects from me. Games like Destiny and Path of Exile and Fortnite and other seasonal update models all create this endless pit for you to throw your time into. These games create regular accomplishment and instant gratification that keeps you in the gameplay loop. The problem is that this artificial bloat, as I like to call it, almost never significantly adds to the gameplay experience, often only keeping our attention through consistent need for tactile accomplishment, or my incessant need to dress up as Sabrina Carpenter and shoot Shohei Ohtani with a shotgun. I like to imagine that Sabrina Carpenter is the bookie collecting on Ohtani's sports betting debt. No game should last forever, no matter how much we might want it to. Drew Gooden made a really good point about this in one of his videos, talking about how he prefers it when he finishes a game and still enjoys it. as opposed to resenting it for how many repetitive tasks that it expects from him. This resonated with me because games are meant to be enjoyed. If by the end of your game, I'm already bored of it because you repeated the same things over and over again, I'm not going to want to come back to it. Obviously, games can be long and good, but these are not mutually exclusive attributes. A 10-hour experience can be just as fulfilling as a 110-hour experience, as long as they both respect that time. Just because Baldur's Gate 3 had hundreds of hours of content doesn't mean that every RPG should be expected to. It took them 6 years to make that game, with hundreds of people on the team. Can you imagine asking indie developers working on an RPG to put in that much time? They'd have a mental breakdown in their studio apartment, scrawling dialogue trees on the walls. This death by comparison is a consequence of our cultural obsession with nostalgia, comparing every game with the games of our past, games that we likely don't have a real critical appreciation of due to the years in between. I found myself falling victim to this in a recent video about Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Although I think I managed to remain critical and impartial towards the newer titles, I struggled to do so for the titles of my childhood. Even though I replayed them for the video, I failed to articulate that Wind Waker is simultaneously repetitive, too long, and too short. That Twilight Princess is formulaic. That the original Ocarina of Time is clunky in ways that are indicative of its era. I failed to say that although Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have their problems, that so did the titles of my childhood. Oblivion Remastered. I remember loving the original Oblivion when it came out, and I was in diapers. I'm up to pull-ups now. But without the nostalgia, it's clunky, awkward, and inconsistent. The beginning of the game is unbearably slow. The caves and Oblivion portals are so repetitive that you get lost around every corner. Yet I still love it. The internet still loves it because of what the original game meant to us. But Starfield was lambasted for all of the same issues, but it's not a remaster. It doesn't have nostalgia attached to it. And also, yeah, there's no excuse. This should have been fixed a decade ago. Bethesda, there is no excuse for your AI doing this in 2023. You've been using the same engine for 30 years. The thing is, we often hold nostalgia to a different standard than we do the new. The experience of learning a new thing makes us hypercritical of all of the tiny problems. Elden Ring had better exploration. Baldur's Gate had better voice acting.
Gods!
Red Dead Redemption had a better story, so on, so forth. Nostalgia breeds a form of comparison that punishes innovation that isn't distinctly iterative. Large leaps in genre leave people reeling at the loss of what they once loved, while smaller iterative innovations make them comfortable and ease them into something new. I mean, look at Expedition 33. The only reason that this game doesn't have an overwhelmingly positive on Steam is because turn-based combat purists are pissed off that you have to dodge and parry. They're mad that the game is more fun. They called it a JRPG for people who don't like RPGs. We see a deluge of Souls-likes on the market nowadays, and they're often received well. But the reviews always critique them for having less content than a Souls game or less balanced combat and weapon options. I liked Twink Souls, okay? Sure, it was a little weird, but it was fantastic. Twink Souls was good too. And people complained about it being too hard. Guys, this is the fan base that slogan is get good. You gotta pick one. What I'm trying to get at here is that even when games make huge experimental leaps that are received well, they often don't sell well. Look at Alan Wake 2. This game blew my mind. It has amazing, beautiful visuals, fantastic storytelling. The creativity on display here is staggering. They named every book on these bookshelves. It's not just 8 copies of The Lusty Argonian. Although... Yet despite the game receiving great reviews and getting good coverage, it still didn't manage to make a profit until nearly a year after its release. Meanwhile, Oblivion Remastered? It doubled their sales in 1 week. 1 week! I don't know if this is a fair comparison, but it is an interesting one. The kind of experimentation that nostalgia supports is a new mechanic in a remarkably similar game. It's open world Mario Kart. It's seasonal updates in Path of Exile. I feel like people forget just how hated the first few Souls games were. People complained that it didn't tell you what to do, that it was too difficult, too awkward. Now look at us. Iron Pineapple has an entire career just playing Souls-likes. That's crazy. I love it, but it's crazy. Okay, I know you just bought the Resident Evil remake, but hear me out. It's like Dark Souls. Don't you want to swing a big phallic sword at a big muscular demon guy? Come on. That's what I thought. You little sicko. You little weirdo. Freud would have a field day with you. This brings me to my final point. Industry weaponized nostalgia. You can take one look at the catalog of Disney Plus and immediately see what I'm talking about. Live action version of an animated movie, Star Wars franchise, best-selling novel from over a decade ago, sequel, Marvel, Disney. You are worth over $1 billion. Stop asking ChatGPT to come up with business decisions. Just because nostalgia sells doesn't mean it's the only thing you should do. The gaming industry, and I specifically mean the AAA gaming industry, knows that we eat up nostalgia. Nostalgia is safe for shareholders. It has guaranteed sales. It costs less to produce a game when you don't have to develop new systems. It saves money on artists because you don't have to develop any new style or design. The only thing keeping the industry from being predominantly remakes and sequels has been AA and indie content. Nintendo hasn't made a new IP in 6 years. Publishers want what's safe. They want a new Sims. They want a new GTA, a new Borderlands, a new Assassin's Creed. They want a new Doom. All right, the Doom always slaps. I get it. The point is that publishers want to fund these games because the risk to reward ratio is low. Now, this isn't to say that sequels are inherently bad, but they are inherently easy. And the industry has been getting shaken up as of late, with games like Wukong and Expedition 33 bringing AAA quality titles from first-time studios. The thing is, these games are often first attempts from people who have a passion for what they're creating. I will say this is a pattern that it feels like we're beginning to escape more and more. With interesting simulators, experimental stories, and new franchises are pushing publishers to invest in new studios with innovative ideas. EA has produced a new non-franchise game at least once a year over the past few years. And we're seeing a lot of stuff blow up from single developers like Schedule 1. You got the stuff? Hurry up, come on, man. Come on. Thank you. The problem is that nostalgia encourages the money guys to say, just make a sequel or a remaster. Or even better, sell a contemporarily relevant skin for $20. What? I want to close out with a little clarification. I don't think nostalgia is inherently bad. I just used hyperbole to get you to watch this. If something was good enough for you to remember and cherish it, there's likely a reason for that. A lot of nostalgia-inspired games made by smaller studios are not reductive in the way that sequels often are. On top of this, art does not exist in a vacuum. All games are going to be inherently influenced by other games. The difference between a game like Repo being similar to Lethal Company and a game like Assassin's Creed Shadows being similar to Ghosts of Tsushima is this, though. Repo has a distinct personality. It expands on the ideas that inspired them while changing the game on a fundamental level, even though it still maintains the same general gameplay style. Assassin's Creed Shadows is so similar that it's difficult to parse where the original ideas even begin. This issue with nostalgia is something that has been bugging me for a while now. I often catch myself falling into a hole of playing the same games day in and day out. And when I want to escape that cycle, I go back and I play something that I loved even further back in the past. I catch myself avoiding new games and experiences because of a general exhaustion with the world. The problem is, I don't want to do the same thing day in and day out, to play the same games, to get every skin in Fortnite, because I want to test myself. I want new experiences, but mostly because I couldn't possibly afford every skin in Fortnite. I want to make a new favorite. But I want to end this video not with lamenting the sagging of an industry, but with how I'm going to fix a more personal problem. I'm trying new games. Okay, I never said right now, okay? Anyway, look at my Argonian. You got diamonds with that chin. I'm trying Expedition 33, which so far got my seal of approval. But I'm also looking for new and upcoming games that are different. On top of this, I'm taking on an endeavor I've always wanted to try but never given the chance. I'm DMing for a campaign with a bunch of friends. And I'm not doing a pre-built one. I've always wanted to write out an interesting world and do the improv that comes with it. Trying new things helps break the cycles that perpetuate our depression. And so I'll end this video with a call to action of sorts. Try a new thing. Learn a new skill, play a new game, watch a new movie, go to a new place. A great place to start: subscribe. That's something you haven't done yet. And if you've done a lot of subscribing in your day, start trying new things after you've subscribed. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. If you are interested in seeing or hearing about my D&D campaign, let me know. I was thinking about recording it, so it would be cool to see if anybody's interested. Anyway, that's all I got, so deuces.